very special Sports Unfolded Super Bowl preview show. I'm your host, Eric. My main man, Ron.
How you doing,
Might be
Eric?
joined by Kenny at some point if he's able to jump on. So, obviously, big game today.
Well, I think he's still in mourning over Detroit not winning everything.
Although, I don't know if you've seen that in Detroit, basically, they got Stafford jerseys that, like, wear Stafford to the Super Bowl, but in the Detroit Lions jerseys.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of interesting to see. So it's similar to what New England did with Tom
Pipe
Brady
dream.
when it was, 1-1 with Tampa.
Yeah, but it's not so bad because the Patriots won a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I found that funny.
Like
So,
Detroit won nothing.
so the big game, LA Rams versus the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to bring those two team logos up for you real quick.
Yep.
And let's just discuss real quick their Super Bowl records. So LA, this will be their fifth appearance in the Super Bowl. They're 1-3 currently. They lost Super Bowl 14 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 31-19. Then they beat the Tennessee Titans 23-16 and Super Bowl 34, and that was that stretch touchdown where Tennessee fell like a yard short from tying that game up.
Yep.
Obviously lost the last two Super Bowls. Super Bowl 36 to the New England Patriots, 20-17, Tom Brady's first Super Bowl victory. And then in Super Bowl 53, 13-3, where the defense of New England actually held Goff and company in check. Sean McVay obviously coached in that one. Cincinnati, this will be their third Super Bowl appearance. They're 0-2. They lost Super Bowl 23 to the San Francisco 49ers, 20-6. And then Super Bowl 26 to San Francisco, 26-21. So the one plus for them is they're not facing San Francisco.
Yeah, but it is California.
And it is NFC West. So NFC West team, I don't know if that's a sign or not. We'll have to see. But let's discuss the game just from a numbers standpoint, and then obviously we'll go into the players and how we feel each position will rank versus the other team. So let's start off.
This is so close, Eric. You
It's
look
unreal.
at everything. Even when you break down the players, it's so close.
Yeah, when you talk about a matchup where both sides honestly don't have one advantage over the other, this is it when you look from a numbers standpoint. So they both averaged 27.1 points a game. They both get about 360 to 70 yards a game during the regular season. They both gave up about 22 points in the regular season. Obviously, in the playoffs, a little bit different. The Rams gave up 18.3 points per game, while Cincinnati 19.7 in the playoffs. So, again, extremely close, 1 point difference there. So, from a turnover standpoint, 23-21 in favor of the Bengals, 2 less turnovers, nothing crazy. Penalties, 76-72 in favor of Cincinnati, only 4. But look at even the penalty yards, 637 to 620. Like they both had about the same amount of yards. When you think about penalties, pass interference, all these different yardage, even that was right on 17 yards difference for the regular season. So to me, very well matched up when it comes to numbers standpoint. Playoffs a little different, just a little bit different. 399 yards per game for the offense for the Rams versus 337 for the Bengals. So about 60 yards less. Passing about 50 yards less from 305 to 249. And then rushing the ball 94 to 88. So LA's offense performed a little better in the playoffs so far. Even the defensive side of the ball, when you look at from the Rams gave up 274 yards a game, Cincinnati 371, so almost a 100-yard difference.
But you also got to look at who they played.
Yep. So the Rams faced San Francisco,
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, who struggled,
and
especially
Arizona.
running the ball. But again, you got Kansas City, you got some other stuff. So you have to look at it from a standpoint.
Yeah, because they played Tennessee, they played Kansas City. There's some offense there,
The Raiders,
and the Raiders. Yeah,
right? They started off with the Raiders.
I think Cincinnati had a tougher um, offense to play against as a whole. So it kind of makes sense that their defense wasn't as good as the Rams' defense.
Yeah, and even from a standpoint of when we think about the Rams and how formidable their defense is, they've had 5 sacks, 4 interceptions in the playoffs. Cincinnati 8 sacks, 6 interceptions. So if you look at it from a defensive standpoint,
Yeah.
Cincinnati's caused more havoc from a defensive side of the ball than the
Right.
Rams have, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, no, it's true. And let's be honest. They had to play against the number one running back. Then they had to play
Well,
against
and again,
Mahomes as well.
But Derrick Henry was not the number one.
No,
running
he
back
was
at that
not.
point.
No,
he
was
wasn't
not.
the same player. So
I'm not trying to sway people in one way or another. I'm just pointing out.
You're sounding more pro Bengal here.
Garoppolo isn't Patrick Mahomes.
No, agreed. Although Patrick Mahomes in that second half played like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, yeah, he did.
So we can look at it that standpoint. Look, I like the Bengals. It's a fun story. I think it's going to be exciting to watch.
I love the story.
But I also think Sean McVay has something to prove after the loss in the last Super Bowl to New England. Hence why they got Stafford, why they picked up OBJ, why they got Von Miller.
Yeah.
It was to win a Super Bowl. So you'd have to think that honestly, if the Rams don't pull this off, it's a major disappointment for them.
Oh, big time. And if they pull it off, then the general manager automatically becomes the front office MVP for the NFL.
Yeah,
because you think about it, because those 3 guys meant everything.
They put all their money in the bank.
Yep.
All on the table. Chips are all in. They're here.
Yeah.
They're here. And the fact that they're at home, even though they're not the home team, which I still find ironic.
Yeah.
It's a disadvantage to Cincinnati.
Oh, big time.
Cincinnati had to travel. The Rams stayed home. Cincinnati was at a hotel.
Yep.
So you got to look at it from that standpoint. How much easier is this game for the Rams when you don't even have to travel?
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to pack anything up, set anything up, your locker room. Although they have to switch to locker rooms, I believe, because they'd have to have the visitors' locker room.
Yeah.
Right. So I maybe that part of it is the only difference.
Yeah, but they have people that do it, so it's not like they have to do anything.
Yeah.
And then they could just remove all the cameras from the visitors' locker room.
Hey. Wow. That one stunk.
That's funny, though. It's funny.
So we do believe the challenge is going to be Cincinnati Bengals offensive line versus this defense, this front 7 of the Rams.
Yeah.
Von Miller, Aaron Donald, that pass rush, the determination on Aaron Donald, he wants a ring.
Yeah.
Can Cincinnati scheme up something that's actually going to benefit them enough to control that side of the ball?
I think they'll scheme up something like they did last game. But I don't know if it's going to be enough against that defensive line.
Yeah, so to me, I looked at it from a standpoint of they have to utilize screen passes, hold that pass rush a little bit. Again, same thing, run the ball. Make sure you're running the ball, staying consistent with that, even if you're not gaining yards. Faceless, thanks for joining. Because it's just going to keep that defensive line honest enough to say, we can't just pin our ears back and go full throttle. We're going to have to be concerned with the run, the screen passes. That slows down that pass rush enough where it could be beneficial, and especially if they're gaining yards from it.
Yeah, you also can't put yourself third and long, because if it's third and long, then
they're coming.
Donald and company are going to tee off on Burrow.
Yeah, and again, we know that the Tennessee Titans sacked him 9 times, so the opportunities for the Rams to honestly get to him are there, and we know they're there. And if I was going to pick a pass rush, I'd pick the Rams over Tennessee any day of the week. So you would just assume that they'd be able to get to Burrow.
Yeah, you would think.
So let's basically see. I think Kenny's going to try to join us here, so we can go through the players, and basically we're going to break down each position. We're going to start off with the head coaches, though. Let's look at the head coaches. So the Rams, Sean McVay, Zach Taylor for the Cincinnati Bengals. If we had to rank a strength, so basically grading it A to F, Sean McVay, 55-26 in his career. Zach Taylor, 16-32-1. Obviously, that first 2 years, the first year wasn't very good. The second year, they drafted Burrow, but he got hurt.
Right.
And then we saw what he was able to do year 3 now with healthy Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And the draft pick of Jamar Chase, which we all question and criticize on draft day. Hence, though, 55 sacks you've given up.
Fairness,
they need an offensive line.
In fairness to us, when we said that was the wrong move, we were basing it, on the fact that they weren't very good the year before, the line, but it grew and it meshed, and it made a big difference. And it still wasn't good, obviously, because they lost Whitmer, who is now playing for the Rams.
Yeah,
correct. He
Yes.
was there. He was in Cincinnati last year, and it could have even been better. Imagine if they would have held on to him.
Yeah. So
then
I think
it wouldn't be a question on who would win, in my opinion, if he was still with the Bengals.
And we talked about it. At the end of the day, they gave up 55 sacks in the regular season. So there's still needs at the offensive line. And if they get beat in this Super Bowl because of it, I'm going to guarantee you that in the next draft, it's an offensive lineman.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it's not, then we can definitely criticize them.
Right.
And you got to build that lineup. So when it comes to which one you would favor, who would you go with on this?
Oh, definitely the Rams in this.
Yeah, right. So McVay, his experience, the team he's coached, built. If you think about his coaching tree and what he's been able to do in the NFL, I agree with you. I think McVay has to be, the clear-cut favorite on that.
Yeah, that might be the biggest difference because of that experience.
It could be. I know from what I've been reading, heard a lot about how he learned from the experience the last time in the Super Bowl and the things he did wrong that he's going to correct this time.
Yep.
I think he's not going to be as laid back as he was and just assume that he's going to be able to score at will. I think he's going to take more chances because ultimately he understands this is the last game of the year, and if you hold back a little bit, it could ultimately cost you the victory.
Absolutely. Can't hold back.
Can't hold back. And again, Zach Taylor, I think he's done a very good job in the playoffs with what he was able to accomplish. But this might be a game now where it's a little bit above his head.
Yeah, he hasn't. The fact that he hasn't been to the Super Bowl, he's not gonna know the situations, for the prep, keeping the players kind of like even keeled, with all the hype, so especially when you get a rookie receiver that is your breadwinner.
Yeah, your number one guy.
It's going to be tough.
And again, Jamar
because
Chase,
they're so young.
Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
His numbers speak for themselves, but again, can he beat Ramsey in that matchup, and how's that going to look? All right, so let's talk about the quarterbacks. So The quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, 404 of 601 passing, so 67% overall for the season. 4,886 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Didn't run much, 43 rushing yards, no touchdowns.
He almost had as much yards as Brady.
I think we could get 43 yards rushing in the NFL. Maybe.
No, I'm talking about the passing yards.
Oh yeah. Again, almost 5,000
Yeah.
passing yards. So again, was able to move the ball effectively. Joe Burrow, 366 of 520 pass attempts, 70% completion, 4,611 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, rushed for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. We saw his mobility in that Chiefs game where he was able to slip out of a couple sacks, pick up some key first downs for them. So overall, if you were going to compare the two quarterbacks, which one would you consider the favorite in that matchup?
I would say a slight favorite to Burrow.
Wow. Okay.
I think his accuracy is a little better.
Well, yeah, 3% better.
Yeah, I think just the decision making seems to be a little better.
Yep. Yeah, I love where you're going with this.
Like because Matthew Stafford, for all his skill, and he is very skillful, he does tend to just think maybe he can put it in there when he can't.
Yeah. So again, I think Stafford takes chances.
Yeah.
They lost the last game of the season. He threw a pick, and it was just a well underthrown ball. He was going deep when he didn't need to. He's less likely to dink and dunk, where I think Joe Burrow will.
And that's just it. It's like the take what you're given kind of thing.
Yep.
And then you see that moment where somebody could possibly be open deeper, so he takes that chance. And I can understand you doing it. Like if you can chuck the ball 50 yards down the field, it's almost like a punt if it does get picked. And I understand that. But there are times where he takes that chance when he does have a guy wide open and he wants more.
And again, in the Super Bowl, we all know turnovers could be the end of the game, regardless. So again, I agree with you. I think Joe Burrow, slight edge.
Just a slight edge. Slight edge. It's not a huge difference.
No, I think that one piece, that decision making, will Stafford stay under control, or will he try to make a big play that ends up costing him, some points? And the fact that even in that Tampa game, the amount of fumbles and turnovers that they were creating or giving up, that's going to be key for them. They got to make sure they hold on to the ball. So Stafford has to control that by where he's putting the ball when he's throwing it.
Right.
Running backs. So for the Rams, we don't even know who's going to really start. So Sony Michel obviously had the most yards for the regular season, 208 carries, 845 yards, 4 touchdowns, 21 catches for 128 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Cam Akers came back here in the playoffs. He's had 213 total yards. 153 of those are rushing, but obviously the turnovers key there.
And this is where McVay is going to have to decide if he is going to win a Super Bowl. I think you got to go with Sony Michel.
Experienced.
Look, it's not even that. Just the fumble problem that Akers has had. I'm sorry. I don't go with Akers. I go with Michel.
The only guy to score in Super Bowl 53 was Sony Michel.
Yeah.
He knows how to play in big games. He's been in big games.
Yeah.
To me, he's a better security blanket when it comes to the fact that he's not going to put the ball on the ground.
Right.
So I like the Cam Akers story. It's great he can make it back in such a short amount of time. And I'm not saying they won't use him, but if you predominantly put him in that position, to me, you may cost your team the victory.
The more you use him, the more of a roll of the dice it is. That's the way I look at it. Yes, if you use him maybe, on third down, fine. Fine. But I'd go with the ball security because we all know Super Bowl turnovers are everything.
And I think Cam
Everything.
Akers a better receiving back. So
Yeah.
to your point, third down makes more
Right.
sense than Sony Michel. But yeah, first and second down, Michel. If you're gonna utilize
right.
the running game, it makes sense. Cincinnati side,
Oh,
Joe Mixon, 292 carries, 1,205 yards, 13 touchdowns, 42 catches, 314 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns.
those catches, though,
Right,
that's a
catches.
difference maker for Cincinnati. We could be talking about the offensive line and Joe Mixon at the end of the game. If Cincinnati wins, that's where they want it.
Yeah, and you said it on Friday, right? That it's got to be a heavy dose of Mixon.
Yep.
It has to be something around the passing, so the screen passes, things of that nature for him.
Yeah, he doesn't have to get 100 yards rushing. He could get 50 yards rushing and 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
That's definitely possible in this game.
And if I'm the Bengals, I'm honestly not trying to run outside as much. The speed of the Rams defense, I would not want to run. Just running the tackles, keep them honest, make Aaron Donald have to play inside.
Yeah. Well, you also got to look. The linebacking core really isn't that great for the Rams. That's their weaker spot. And if you're going to be dishing it out to the running back, who's going to cover him? The linebackers.
Yeah.
That's going to be the ones that are going to be assigned to Mixon. And Mixon he could chew up that linebacking crew.
So even Perrine, their backup, 55 carries, 246 yards, a touchdown, 27 catches for 196 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. So even in a backup role, Perrine did a very good job.
Absolutely. He's very capable of spelling Mixon here and there. And I thought, look, that they're not going to have a drop-off in that position.
So when we look at it overall, advantage.
Advantage Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, right? So that's 2 back-to-back Cincinnati advantages, and we're picking our pick at the end of this game. It might not look the way it should.
No, because there's one factor. And we'll get to that. We've already discussed it a bunch already.
So let's look at the wide receiver position. And the interesting thing about the wide receiver position is this is going to be very tough. Let's start with the Rams. Cooper Kupp, 145 catches on 191 targets, 1,947 yards and 16 touchdowns. Van Jefferson had 50 catches on 89 targets, 802 yards, 6 touchdowns. Robert Woods, obviously, we know got injured, hence the Odell Beckham Jr. pickup. He had, for the Rams, 27 catches on 48 targets, 305 yards, 5 touchdowns. We know what OBJ is. To me, he's been waiting for this moment.
Yes, he has.
So I think he's going to be more motivated than he's ever been in his career to prove to everyone that he belongs here.
He's also going to have single coverage all the time.
Yeah, they're going to have to double Cooper.
Yeah. If LA wins, it's because of that defensive line and Beckham. Because he could have a monster game. He could have a monster game.
Because again, how do you defend? So if you double Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson is a very capable wide receiver.
Yeah.
If you double Odell Beckham Jr., Cooper Kupp's going to beat you. Very tough matchup on the defensive side for the Cincinnati Bengals here.
Yes.
But then you go and let's look at the Bengals. This is a tough one. Jamar Chase, 81 catches on 128 targets, 1,455 yards, 13 touchdowns.
Yep.
T. Higgins, 74 catches on 110 targets, 1,091 yards, 6 touchdowns. Tyler Boyd, 67 catches on 94 targets, 828 yards, 5 touchdowns. We know what Jamar Chase is. T. Higgins is that sneaky, quiet wide receiver that, again, we're not talking about, but when you look at the numbers and you look what he was able to do during the regular season, he's the guy that I think the Rams have to worry about more because we know what they're going to try to do to Chase. That allows T. Higgins an opportunity to have a monster game.
Yep.
So even Tyler Boyd, I mean, again, and we know Joe Burrow will spread the ball around. He's not afraid to look in other directions. He's going to take his shots with Chase. We know he's
got 2 receivers with over 1,000 yards.
Yeah. And we know he's going to take a chance either way. He's going to throw the ball deep a couple times to Chase. Chase normally wins one-on-one battles.
See, like, by the numbers here, you would think that the advantage goes to Cincinnati. But Beckham only played, half a dozen games?
Yeah, handful of games, yep.
So I think his numbers would have been rival to Higgins. I really think that the receivers are a push.
Wow.
Like, I don't think anybody really has the advantage there. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, you have the advantage is the defensive backs. That's where
it could be. It could be.
Because Ramsey is actually the better player in all of the defensive backs.
Yeah, Cincinnati's defensive backs aren't nearly as good.
No, they have better safeties.
I'm going advantage Rams on this one.
Yeah, I didn't really.
It's close. It's close, but I would go advantage.
That's the only position where I didn't circle one side or the other.
Yeah,
because it's really that it's the same.
I think Beckham's the difference in that matchup.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to get what he's given you so far since being on the Rams, which I expect and more, or are you going to get what you saw in Cleveland? I think it's going to be. It's
going to be a Rams type of performance.
He could put up MVP type numbers.
He could be, which we will discuss who we think our MVP is going to be as well on the show today.
Yeah.
Let's look at the tight ends. Tyler Higbee for the Rams. He's out now. Yes. Yeah. So Blanton will be their starter.
Yeah.
He's had 4 catches, 37 yards, but he had 7 catches in the postseason now.
Yeah.
Looked good in that Chiefs game.
He did.
So I could say that. Look, it's obviously a downgrade. But I don't think it's a major sticking point where he can't fill that role well enough to at least keep them honest with the tight end.
Right. But Uzomah is also nursing an injury, so
he is going to play though.
He is going to play. Like, he is the better tight end there. So I give the advantage to Cincinnati. But it's not as big as what they're making it out to be because, again, Uzomah is nursing an injury.
Yeah.
And he might not be 100%. Well, he's not going to be 100%. So when it comes to, like, blocking and stuff, how effective is he going to be?
Well, I looked at it this way, too. I don't know if you remember the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks, us being a Patriot fan. But the fact that
I don't remember that. What happened?
But the fact that Rob Gronkowski was injured, and it was more like a decoy. He was a decoy in that game.
Yeah.
So to me, that's what the Bengals do here: is you get him on the field.
Yeah.
You kind of use him as a decoy. You keep the defense honest enough to think that they may possibly have to throw to him.
Yeah.
But how effective is he going to be? And I think once you see that first pass to him or that first block, and we'll have to see if that's ultimately.
Yeah, he might not even be able to get through the game.
Look, it's a torn ACL, and that's the same injury that Higbee had that Higbee can't even go.
Right.
So it just depends on how severe that tear is, or if he does something to tear it even more.
Yeah, I don't see him making it through the game, to be honest with you.
So we're gonna go Cincinnati advantage based on the fact that he is playing.
Yes.
Unsure if, again, he'll finish the game, but currently. So let's look at the two kickers. Actually, if we want, we could talk about the offensive line first. I don't really have numbers, but to me, I mean, we can just compare the two offensive lines.
Well, I think in this case we should compare one offensive line to the other's defensive line.
Okay. So let's do that. If we're going defensive line versus offensive line, advantage, this is an easy one, I would think.
Yeah. I
Right,
think,
we go Rams.
look, the Rams have the better offensive line and defensive line. So let's be clear about that one.
Yeah.
But, you know, like we keep saying, Donald, Floyd, Von Miller, they're going to be all up in their grill. And I don't know if they can stop them. It's almost like you have to almost like let them go and, you know, do a quick, you know, pass out to the, you know, either a quick slant or a screenplay in order to avoid the sacks. And they did a lot of that last game in Cincinnati, and they avoided all those problems. But this is a different beast. This is not Kansas City's line.
Exactly.
This is a whole nother world, and I don't know if you can. I don't know if they can stop them at all. This game could be ugly. It could be ugly.
It could be. If what we've seen from the playoffs, though,
I don't expect it to be, but it could.
Everything's kind of been just continuing to be a close, exciting game, and I'm hoping that's what we get tonight.
And this is why Uzoma is going to be even more crucial, because he's going to have to block one of those guys.
At times, yes.
And I think that's going to wear him down and potentially put him out of the game eventually.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup. Obviously, advantage Rams on that.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. You know, we have that, you know, the quarterback slight, you know, advantage Cincinnati, running back advantage Cincinnati. Even if you tilt the wide receiver one way or the other, it's all going to come down to that offensive line for Cincinnati and the defensive line for the Rams. That's what it ultimately comes down to.
Look, everybody likes the flash.
Yeah,
play it right. We want the offensive guys, the highlight reel passes and everything else. Football's won in the trenches first and foremost. If you can't win in the trenches,
it's a long
day. And this is going to hurt. As you could see, I broke out my Tom Brady jersey today. I haven't worn it since he left, and now there's a possibility he may come back, but that's a whole other story for another day. Tune in Friday for that story. But the 17-0 New England Patriots, or 18, right? 18-0 going into, they lost that game because the trenches, they could not stop that defensive pass rush.
Yeah, Strahan.
And regardless of how many points they scored in the regular
season. Was it JP?
JPP. Yep.
Who was the other one? I can't remember the other guy.
But they couldn't stop it. And it ultimately, it ended up costing them the Super Bowl and the perfect season. You could see the similar thing happen here where the Bengals just, if they can't control it, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble. All right, so let's look at the kickers. So Matt Gay for the Rams was 32 of 34 and 48 of 49 on PATs. But he's missed more field goals in the postseason than he did actually in the regular season. So that's something just to think about. This kid has been impressive. The rookie, Evan McPherson, 28 of 33 in the regular season, 46 of 48 on PATs. But his postseason performance,
perfect.
So, right? Gostowski, Adam Vinatieri, where these are some of the biggest kickers in the game in the postseason, especially Vinatieri. This kid's confidence when you put him in at the end of a game to win it.
Yeah.
You know, and even I think after the Tennessee game, he said, right? He went, we're going to Kansas City. He was telling him already.
I can't believe we're going to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, like he's already calling it. He was already calling it.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with the, in the AFC Championship when he got in. No doubt. Very tough to. They're both very good kickers, but slight
Yes.
advantage McPherson.
Yes. He's just got that. He's got that receiver like swagger. You know, he goes in there. It's almost like he has an attitude, and he's just going to go do his job, and he's gonna perform at a high peak.
Which is
You know.
pretty amazing for a rookie.
Yes. Yes.
And we're not talking about like a regular game. We're talking about possibly winning a championship here.
Right. And I recall two of his kicks in the postseason that won games was from like 50 something yards out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there were a couple, at least 40 plus.
Yeah, maybe one was 48. I think one was a 52. But it
He
was
hasn't missed in a postseason.
no, and he wasn't even worried. They even tried to ice him. That did nothing.
Kid's cool as ice.
Yes. Yes.
Let's look at the Rams defense, and we won't mention everybody. Let's start Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, they're key guys.
Correct.
Trey Hendrickson for the Bengals is their top pass rusher. Obviously, very good there. Eli Apple, probably their top cornerback. To your point, the safeties, Von Bell, Jesse Bates III, very good. Who would you ultimately say has the advantage?
I say it's got to be the Rams because Ramsey is the best player out of both defenses. In the secondary, I should say. In the secondary. But you also have Weddle, who has played well, and Scott.
Yeah, he's come back.
You know, of course, the line, makes everybody else better because of that pressure. And Awuzie has taken his lumps in the playoffs, but he did go up against a couple of good offenses, and
right, and like you said, AJ Brown for the Titans was the top wide receiver. Obviously, Tyreek Hill and that bunch over in Kansas City. So not easy opponents, but it doesn't get easier in this game.
No, it gets worse.
Who do you put him on? Cooper Kupp, OBJ.
Yeah, you got to put him on Cooper Kupp. I think what they should do is instead of doubling Cooper Kupp, they should go and double Beckham and use Awuzie and maybe get some help once in a while on
I can't.
You can't cover them. Like you can't cover them. You can't.
Like
they don't have enough horses to cover them.
You can sit there and say, look, Jalen Ramsey could neutralize.
Yes, he can.
Jamar Chase.
Right.
Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not.
No.
But you could legitimately see it. He has the ability to do that. I don't feel as confident with any of the cornerbacks.
No.
Or the defensive backs in general for the Cincinnati Bengals that they can stop any of those wide receivers.
Maybe they do put him on Beckham and hope that it can contain Beckham and then double Cooper Kupp. I mean, they're gonna try a couple of different things and see what works. I mean, that's all you can really do.
Kupp has to be that guy. I think they would double. You just don't know what you get with Beckham. And look, we're just assuming he's going to have an Odell Beckham night.
Yeah.
Right? He hasn't really done it. He's looked good with the Rams, but he hasn't proven he could do it consistently for them.
We're going to find out tonight.
So, advantage?
I give the advantage to the Rams.
LA, right? So, we only really had the coaching staff for the Rams. We said we'll go a push on the wide receivers.
Yep.
And the defense. Basically, Cincinnati won every position otherwise.
Yeah.
And yet, we're probably going to pick the Rams to win it. It's an interesting way to look at it.
It's
right?
that line. It's that line. I mean, there's no way around it. The defensive line for the Rams is just superior. That is their superior position, and the coach.
And what happens if they control it? Then we automatically go Cincinnati.
Well, if they do control it, then Cincinnati's going to win.
Right? And according to The Simpsons, Cincinnati wins 34-31. So let's go on.
Wait, who predicted what?
The Simpsons.
They predicted Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. It was on one of the, you know how the Simpsons always
34-31?
Yes.
Wait, 31?
34-31. And it was against the Rams. I don't know how the Simpsons do it every year. They always.
Wait, are they right all the time?
They've been pretty right on all their. Again, not just football. They predicted the Trump elections before it happened, Corona before it happened. It's all been on their shows. You have not heard this about the Simpsons?
No.
It's the Simpsons. It's a thing.
Huh.
So way back in the day, they had a show. In one of them, it was the Bengals winning the Super Bowl 34-31 against the Rams.
Interesting.
So let's do a very special triple play. And our triple play is going to basically who we're going to start, bench, and cut from the last 3 Super Bowl MVPs. And that would be Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Julian Edelman. So as much as I thought I was going to go in one direction, I went in a completely different direction. Do you want to go first or I could go first? It's up to you, my friend.
No, you can go first.
All right, so I didn't do numbers. I
didn't either.
I did what my buddy Ron does, the eye test.
The eyeball test.
And I went with my heart. And I started one Mr. Tom Brady. 7 Super Bowl titles. If I need a guy in a postseason to win it, he's my guy. Look, he's been to 10. He's won 70% of them.
Right.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, just being to 10. Even if you went 0 for 10, just to get to 10 is amazing.
Yes, but I mean the fact that he won them,
7 of them.
Hence why I would start him. If he was 0-10 in those Super Bowls, he's not starting for me. So I benched because I want quality Julian Edelman.
Damn it, you took mine.
And I had to go with Jules because if you think about the big games in the postseason, who was the guy?
Yeah.
Julian Edelman.
You're absolutely right. Like this is what I would do. Like how many has Edelman won?
1.
And
he took one away from Tom Brady in that game.
Like
that was
he can actually throw for you too.
Yeah. And if you think about the fact that that was the Rams game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, he had the most catches in the game. I think 11 catches, 100+ yards. But the fact that even against the Falcons that game, the catch he made will forever live in New England lore. When he just scooped it right from it hitting the ground, like the guy just made catches when you needed him.
So Edelman's won 2
Super Bowls, yes. MVP though.
No, I'm talking about.
He only had 1 MVP. Yeah, Super Bowl. No. 3. He won 3.
Was he there for the other one too?
Yeah, he won 3.
Okay. Even better.
Yeah, because it was the Seahawks, the Falcons, and the Rams.
Right. I forgot about Seattle.
Yes. I mean, run the ball. So I had to cut Patrick Mahomes. And the fact that, look, he's been 2 Super Bowls, split them. He's been to 4 AFC championship games and only won 1 of them or 2 of them. He's a great player. But if I needed that one big game, to me, the other 2 are much more clutch.
I'd be a little scared, too, because he throws the ball around, just willy-nilly.
Yeah, his decision-making at times is very questionable. So you had it the same exact way?
The same exact way, because, look, just look at the last game against the Bengals, how reckless he was throwing the ball around. I don't want recklessness.
No, I want to
You
win.
know,
I want a guy that's
I
gonna.
want champions, and like that.
You
That
can't
to
get a
me
bigger
means
one than Tom
everything.
Brady. Yeah, you can't get a bigger one than Tom
No,
Brady.
no,
Right?
like you put anybody in that category, with Tom Brady, I'm taking Tom because of the championships, and no, you know,
So it was a lot easier than I thought.
yeah,
The Patrick Mahomes, Julian Edelman thing, and then when you look at it. So we're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna do a couple of different things. So obviously it's Super Bowl. It's basically like a national holiday. Thanksgiving you have your turkey XYZ, right? With Christmas, you always have these spreads for Christmas. Super Bowl, you always have some foods that are your favorites that you love to watch the game and enjoy during the game. So we're gonna just talk about some food in the
okay,
Super Bowl. Your Super Bowl spread, Ron.
I'll
What's
bite.
your ultimate what's your ultimate Super Bowl foods to go to? What do you enjoy eating, watching the game? What is it?
Yeah, well, you got to go with the staple, and that's pizza.
Pizza, number one. It's a must. You
It's a
have to have
must.
pizza on the
You
Super
have
Bowl.
to have pizza for the Super Bowl. If you're gonna have this big spread, you got to have pizza.
And is it
Unfortunately, the pizza place where I am isn't open on Sundays.
wow.
You would think they would
Talk about
open
the
for
money
Super
they're
Bowl
losing.
Sunday, but they don't open on Sundays.
Wow,
Don't open.
incredible. So is it order out? Is it something you make? Is it something that you get the frozen pizzas? What's the pizza?
Well, it would be pepperoni pizza. But I
Pepperoni?
can,
You go straight
yeah, but I
pepperoni?
can make like today because the pizza place around here isn't open.
Yeah.
I'll have to have some like English muffin pizzas.
Oh, look at you. Getting a little creative.
Yeah, get
Cut
the
the
English
cut the
muffins, put
Are
the
you cutting the
sauce and
pepperonis into
cheese.
little footballs?
No.
No pineapple, Faisal says. You don't
Oh
put pineapple.
God,
I
no.
love Hawaiian pizza though. I don't
Oh, that's
understand this.
terrible.
I would go with Hawaiian any day of the week if I could.
My camera keeps falling.
But I'm a meat lover guy.
Yeah.
I love the meat. Give me meats on mine. I need the hamburger, the bacons,
Yup.
pepperonis.
Absolutely.
I want it greasy. Oli, thanks for joining. Turd, thanks for joining. But to me, I still listen. If I have an option and Hawaiian's on the table, I'm taking a Hawaiian as well.
Not me. No,
I-
that stuff doesn't belong on a pizza.
It does.
It does not.
So pizza's a must.
Pizza's a must.
You got to have though chips and salsa,
Oh God, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got that's during the game.
You get,
They're
like,
a quick.
Those nacho cheese tortillas. I won't say the
yes.
brand because they're not sponsoring us, but they come in Cool Ranch and they come,
Yeah.
the nacho
Yeah.
and then you get some dips and stuff like that.
You got to get dips. You got to have your dips. You got to have your chips for the Super Bowl. It does belong. Oli says, "Thank you, Oli." Without a doubt, pineapple on a pizza. It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
It's okay. But you got to have your chips and salsa. Again, what's your preference? So again, even pretzels, any of that, you got to have one of those snack foods.
Oh, cheese puffs.
But what? Oh, cheese puffs. See, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. What about wings?
Yeah,
Have some wings. No wings.
I don't do the wings if there's
Not
pizza.
big wings. Okay. Pizza, wings, chips. What else? What do you got? What's on the spread tonight? You got your English muffin pizzas.
English muffin pizzas, maybe some popcorn.
Some popcorn. Look at you, healthy popcorn.
Yeah, I have to. I have to.
Good.
Do
We got
healthier. So
I got macaroni bites coming. I got pizza.
Oh my God, the mac and cheese bites would be
mac
really
and cheese
good.
bites. Like I'm gonna eat unhealthy today. My cholesterol level is gonna go through the roof.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that. Especially considering if you get to those nervous moments. Although don't have to worry about that because the Pats aren't playing. But
yes,
those fans of Cincinnati and Rams, they're gonna go through it.
And we know those
Gotta
feelings.
go through it.
Yeah, we know those feelings, and I'm glad we're not in it this year because I just don't. My heart, I don't know, could take it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because we're so used to it, so we might be conditioning ourselves not to be so nervous. But
Yeah.
it always is.
Yeah, it always
You know?
was.
Especially
Listen,
when we were in those situations where we would have 2 or 3 potential championships in 1 year from all the teams around.
we went to 9. I'm going to tell you this: I didn't eat during any 9 of them because I just couldn't. I was
Get
so
sick.
nerve wracking, right? So now that's what I'm saying. Like I looked at this year and I said, I'm gonna have a blast. I mean, I got the pizzas, the chips, salsa lined up.
Yep.
Macaroni cheese bites lined up, some cheese bread stuff. I mean, I got it all. The spread, and you can't forget, Ron. One of the most important things, you got to have a good beverage. You got to have a good beverage, even if
Of course.
if it's soda, if it's beer, if it's a cocktail. But you got to have a beverage.
Yeah, and it's not the Bud Bowl, so you can't have Bud and Bud Light. No,
When did that?
That's not
why
beer.
did they get rid of that? I love the Bud Bowl.
Yeah, but it's just crappy beer, though.
Yeah, I like the commercial.
No,
I didn't care about
Budweiser commercials are usually great.
Yeah, I'm just disappointed. They should bring back the Bud Bowl.
Yeah, well, they had the Puppy Bowl.
The Puppy Bowl. I can't wait. And we're gonna next year, Sports Unfolded Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's all about soups. We're gonna do a soup.
All about soups.
Bowl. All soups. Notice we didn't say soup was one of our favorite foods to eat during the Super Bowl. No soup during the Super Bowl. No soup.
Yeah, you might think that somebody would jump on that.
Right?
But now it's copywritten right here. It's copywritten.
Super Bowl.
We own that. So anybody tries to do it, we're suing you.
First matchup: Campbell's versus Progressive. I'm way ahead.
I like Lipton.
Look at it, a Lipton. Oh, we got this whole.
Lipton
we could do
noodle soup.
A whole chart. A Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're suddenly becoming the Food Network. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Well, like you can do like the whole playoffs. You just get all the different soups, and you just do a bracket with those soups.
I love it. I love it. And listen, you got to have the Lipton onion dip. You make the dip, the sour cream, the onion. That's a go-to as well.
And the saltine crackers.
Oh, look at you. I'm getting hungry right now. We might have to stop the show, grab something to eat.
Yeah, maybe.
So, not only is it about food, it's also the entertainment. And I am extremely excited about this Super Bowl halftime show. These are the hip-hop legends with Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. I'm a huge Mary J. Blige fan. Kendrick Lamar, I like his music as well. To me, I am so excited about this halftime show.
Didn't they add somebody also? Somebody got added to the list.
You know who got added? This is a Sports Unfolded exclusive right now. Tupac Shakur.
Oh, jeez, come on.
Is going to be in the. I'm serious. They're doing a hologram.
They're going to do a hologram. Yeah.
And they're going to probably sing California Love. That to me phenomenal. I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm so excited. This Super Bowl halftime show. I'm looking more forward to this than I am the actual game. Even though we cover sports and we're going to be talking about it on Fridays, on Friday night, 6 p.m. Tune in live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter for our regular Sports Unfolded show. But we're going to talk right now, Ron, about some of your favorite halftime performances of all time. And I'm going to go from the least of my favorites, but obviously still one of my tops, to my favorite. So I got 3 that I want to discuss.
Okay, shoot.
All right. My first one, 2013, Beyonce. Love Beyonce. But the fact that Destiny's Child, it was like the first time they had gotten back together in quite some time and did the Destiny's Child thing. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was a great performance. Beyonce can hold her own on any stage, so I thought she did a phenomenal job with that. Number 2, though, Michael Jackson. which when I started to research this, I didn't realize before this, he was the first time they had a performer do the halftime show. So you think about the King of Pop, 1993. It was the first time they actually had someone perform at halftime. And I can remember he was up on the top of the stadium. All of a sudden he appeared on the stage, and it was like everybody was mind blown, right? So you think about just the performance that Michael Jackson put on regularly, the fact that he was in the Super Bowl as the first performer ever in the history of the Super Bowl, I thought was phenomenal. But my number one, here goes your camera again. My number one, and I still to this day remember the rain coming down, the lights shining up, and they were purple, and Prince is singing Purple Rain.
Yeah.
I watched it again today.
Amazing.
And it just gave me chills. The fact that Prince is gone and left us,
don't
hurt even more. But watching that performance and just what he was able to do, what's the odds that it rained during that song? Like, it was perfect.
It was amazing.
And his guitar playing and the silhouette and everything that he did, Prince to me was my favorite all-time halftime show.
Yes, as mine as well.
Right, it's just, and listen, there was some good ones. Justin Timberlake had a decent one, and there was some decent ones. Shakira, J-Lo, I thought was good, but nothing.
Look, you're forgetting one of the best. One of the best. U2. When U2 sang, I believe it was right after 9/11, and they did that big tribute to a lot of the people, and like that was powerful. I mean, that was my number two. I mean, that was just powerful. Like, it came right after 9/11 happened, and I think U2 was amazing. Not the fact that they just them performing is great, but that was a close second to Prince for me.
Great performances. Again, looking so forward to this one. I'm hoping they do a really good job with it.
I think this one's going to be number 3 for me, to be honest with you.
It could be. I'm hoping.
Look, there's a lot of them that have been pretty bad. Like, if the Rolling Stones were in their prime when they did it, then that probably would have been okay. But when they did it, it was just dreadful.
Yeah, and then again, the NFL had gone through this, spurt after the Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction situation, where they were kind of going very low key on the performers and who they were going to put in, and they finally listen. The FCC is watching.
Oh yeah,
this halftime show
for sure,
to see if they're able to blurt out some of this stuff and make sure that they're able to control some of that language that might be brought up.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm trying to think of what is my current third. I don't know. Maybe Bruce Springsteen might be one of the ones I really liked. I'm just can't think of one that stands out except for the two that I mentioned.
Yeah, I watched a bunch today. I didn't even remember
I didn't care for Aerosmith. I didn't care for oh God. I didn't care for the Rolling Stones. I almost forget their name again. But most of them in just so. Like, you expect more. And I thought the Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake one would have been great, but that went south in a hurry.
And then I watched one today, and Justin, he came back after obviously a few years of that situation.
Yeah,
and it was in Minnesota, and I had forgotten that they dropped down the silhouette, and he actually did a duet with Prince because obviously Prince was from Minnesota. I thought that was a really cool moment. So there's moments sometimes in certain performances, and then there's just performances that blow you away.
Yeah. That's why I only had really two that stood out to me.
Yeah.
Because U2 and Prince. Prince was just amazing.
Yeah, and I talked about that Prince one to anybody and everybody that may
what
not
a loss. What a loss.
Right?
Ugh.
So a phenomenal performance there. Obviously, we're expecting a big one tonight. So really excited about that.
Yeah.
Let's go back
to watch it just for that.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there's going to be people that are just watching it for that.
Yeah.
So we're almost about to wrap this up. We got a little bit left to cover. But so we're going to discuss our Super Bowl pick and then our MVP. And we're going to give some details as to why. So, and we got a score. I need a score, Ron.
Oh, I got a score.
All right. So you always complain you go first. So I'm going to go first today. So you don't say I copy you.
Oh, I have everything right there.
I got mine written down.
I'm giving you details.
I got written down. I am going. My Super Bowl winner for Super Bowl 56 will be the Los Angeles Rams, 30-20, late field goal to push them over 10 points, covering the spread as well. The spread's +4 for the Rams. They're going to cover the spread. And the reason why is a late turnover from Aaron Donald. It's going to strip sack Joe Burrow, get the ball back. They kick the field goal, go up by 10. My MVP is going to be Aaron Donald, who's going to have 2.5 to 3 sacks in this game. That is put that money in the bank right now.
Okay.
A defensive player wins.
I am going to give you my MVP first because I have the same one.
Aaron Donald.
But I think he's going to have more than 3 or 4 sacks. I'm saying 5.
Wow.
I'm telling you, he is going to be on them like pigeons on popcorn. He's going to be on Burrow so many times, he's going to be wearing his jersey. That's how many times.
Wow.
So he's going to get 5 sacks and several knockdowns as well. So, and, a forced fumble. Just to throw it on there.
Okay.
I am going with the Rams over Cincinnati, 34-30. And here's exactly how it's going.
34-30. Wow. Okay.
Yes, this is how it's going to go. So when you're picking your little boxes, this is what you got to go by.
So hold on, though.
First quarter.
Real quick before you go. Which means the Rams don't cover the spread.
No.
So if you're betting right now, you're basically saying go with Cincinnati to cover.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I like it.
But the Rams are going to win.
Rams win.
First quarter, 10-7 Rams. Second quarter, 17-10 Rams. So all you picking those squares. Third quarter, 27-20. Fourth quarter, 34-30. Cincinnati is actually going to take the lead in the fourth quarter, and Stafford comes back and gets a touchdown at the end to win the game.
Listen, everybody forget Stafford is one of the best fourth quarter quarterbacks.
I know.
So I like where you headed there. I like what you did.
Yep. So that's how it is. So if you're scoring at home and using those boxes, now you know exactly what to do. Pick those boxes that I just told you.
Definitely pick some zeros.
Yes.
A lot of zeros.
Yes.
A lot of zeros. So, once again, if you enjoy what you watched, this is the Sports Unfolded 2022 Super Bowl show. Check us out on Friday nights. Every Friday night at 6 p.m.
Hey, don't forget, we had both picked the Rams
on Friday
before the season started.
We did. We just had a different – obviously, we didn't have the Bengals in.
I had a different Ohio team.
You had Cleveland, yes, and I had Kansas City. So I mean, it's pretty good.
At
I think
least I was in the right state.
we did pretty good. So we did our NFL preview show,
Yeah.
which obviously we'll do every year. We were pretty spot on. We
Yeah,
did
we
pretty
were.
good. So, and then we do a mid-season. We were still doing pretty well.
I think I only got 3 teams wrong that made the playoffs.
We're really listen, if you want great sports talk, great sports knowledge, check us out every Friday night, 6 p.m.
Eric, I gotta give myself credit for picking Pittsburgh to make the playoffs.
No, yeah, which right? Nobody would have thought that.
I didn't pick Baltimore.
And they needed a tie.
Yeah.
Right? They needed a tie or whatever, some nonsense to get in, and they did.
Yeah.
So we're excited about the game tonight, Super Bowl 56. We're going to bring up, I love this picture right here, Ron. We got to bring this up. And this is what we got to look forward to, my friend. And, oh, wrong one. There it is. Look at this thing. I found this picture.
I'm still trying to look at it.
And I said, this picture, what we got to look forward to tonight. Look at that thing. Little Donald, little cup. That's a nice picture. Look at that trophy. So we're excited. We're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking.
Second best trophy in sports.
Here we go, Stanley Cup, hockey guy.
Stanley Cup is obviously the best one. It's the same one you win every year. They pass it around.
So
these are just
really
new.
excited.
These are new ones. Like, you
So
give
we're
one
really
out every year.
about the game tonight, and I'm sure we'll be talking back and forth during the game as this thing goes on. So stay tuned for Sports Unfolded on Friday night, where we'll break down this Super Bowl game and what happened. We are live at 6 p.m. on Friday nights on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. You can follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. You can listen to us on podcasts if you don't have time to watch on Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. So many different ways to watch, listen. Also really excited about that Discord, right? So we got Discord. If you want to join our Discord, Sports Unfolded Discord or Rhode Island Broadcasting Discord. Thank you, Faceless. Thanks for joining us tonight. Rhode Island Broadcasting Discord. Join us. Follow. I post all the time for Sports Unfolded, all our polls, all our shows. You can check us out on Discord. If you'd like to sponsor the show, we're going to bring that email up. Rhode Island Broadcasting. So ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Less than a cup of coffee. We will sponsor a Starbucks because Starbucks pretty expensive, but it's less than that. To have us sponsor your show, we will advertise for your business. We are worldwide. We've got fans in Canada, UK. So we're around besides just the United States. So even from an online standpoint, if you need your online business to take off, check us out. We can definitely sponsor you. We'd love to get some bits every time we're on Twitch. You guys have been amazing on Twitch. We appreciate everybody that joined today. Faceless, Turd, Oli, you guys have been great. Great discussion around pizza. Can't wait. Gonna put mine in the oven soon. And spending time with friends and family. So it should be a good game tonight. Ron, Friday night, my friend. Be ready to break this thing down.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have an NFL champion after tonight. So kickoff 6:30 tonight.
And a new champion.
New champion.
Quarterback.
Yes. Neither one has won it. Obviously, Joe Burrow only in his third year, but Stafford, year 13, I believe he is?
Yep.
So, again, hopefully some of these Detroit fans, they get what they're looking for, because I think a little part of them is going to enjoy if Stafford wins because, he was their quarterback for so long.
Well, it's kind of the same effect as Tom Brady winning it, a little less stinging because we had 1/6 of them. so Detroit, they got to have some enjoyment out of it somehow,
And just out of
fun, going to get there anytime soon.
And I'm not going to hold you to this because until we do our NFL preview show and we have the numbers, the players, there's going to be a lot of movement. But just for fun, who's winning it next year?
I have no idea.
Tom Brady's returning to Tampa Bay.
Oh, is he?
That is what's being discussed. Tom Brady back to Tampa Bay. So you could see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the Super Bowl next season. Mark that on your calendar. Ron, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate your time today. Unfortunately, Kenny couldn't join us. I'm sure he would have had some great food. Kenny's a chef.
Kenny, like I said, is probably mourning the loss
The
of
Lions.
his teams.
Jared Goff, the MVP. So we'll talk on Friday night, Ron.
Okay.
You're already dancing. You're ready to go. Halftime show. Have a good night. Fans out there, take care. Peace.